Hello and welcome back to It's RJ TV. Today we're going to see, can low-level clubs get you any victories in Tour 9 without busting the bank? Let's find out. So this is my first game with this account. Full disclosure, my main account is actually on Tour 9. This is the first game ever with an extra mile 6 that I'll be playing most of my games. I believe the first game I do switch over to a quarterback though. Is it possible to win though with these lower level clubs? At a million a game, I was very scared, but I did have 13 or 14 times the income. So this is our opponent setting up his shot with a kingmaker. I do have some decent balls, not because I spend a lot of money on this account, but because I've entered tournaments, mostly expert tournaments with this account. So let's see how we can compete. And right off the bat, I kind of wish that I had a little bit more curl or side spin or whatnot. So I want to take a look at the quarterback, see if the quarterback would help me out any without giving up too much distance. Plus the big dog for the second shot is nice. So I really like having the club bags. So if you're a part of a clan, make sure you utilize those. So hitting it great with an extra mile 6 would have cost me dearly, but with a quarterback that has 100 accuracy, I am able to get it up close enough and hopefully far enough to have a big dog shot on the tee. So here our opponent is taking his shot, and unfortunately he landed in the sand, but he can still hit it with full power off to the right, as you see, to try to get a chip-in shot, most likely with his thorn. And as you can see, the ball guide is hidden when your opponent takes your shot, as per the rules for the higher level tours. And that great ball was such a big fairway, shouldn't hurt him. So that's where he'll be taking his third shot. Let's see if we can get on green with the big dog. Had I not brought the big dog, I would definitely have to overpower, but look at this. It doesn't even show the extra yardage until I start adjusting. I'm actually going to put backspin on this shot as I'm setting up. Make sure you know the rating of your clubs, and the big dog is definitely not a very accurate club, and it doesn't give you a great ball guide, but we're able to get within putting distance. So this could be used both as, can you do it with low level clubs, but also kind of a learning video. Like if you're just entering Tour 9, it's an excellent way to see some of the holes, because even though you may have played a lot of these holes on Tour 4, from the first tee, they play completely different in the Pro Series. Obviously, you have the higher wind, but also your drive and your shootouts, anything from the tee is different because you're usually a little bit elevated. So he's going to try to, with a thorn shot here, to get the ball in, knowing that all I have is a short putt. So looking pretty good, unless he nails this shot for me to. First game, a victory. And he just misses, so that's going to cost him. So, you know, as you saw in my club bag, I had I paired together, because I only have one set of clubs, I paired together the quarterback and the big dog, because I figured I'm going to need distance on my wood if I don't need all the distance of an extra mile. And then on my number 1 club set, I have the extra mile and the sniper, because I'm thinking I would use a sniper more than a big dog. And also one other thing is, big dog, you usually use your woods on the Pro Series, as you probably already know if you're in Tour 9, and it would suck to be stuck with the big dog on a shootout. So we're going right into our next hole. We're up to 15 mil, looking for an opponent, and we find 4. All right, not sure who goes first. Okay, I love this course. This one's usually found on Tour 6, and 4 is going first with a katana ball. Now, I don't like the way he's taking, but it does work, especially with a bit of a tailwind like he has. You can actually hit your farthest drives, I believe, on this course, because I've had 10-mile-an-hour tailwinds. Throw a berserker in there, and you can pretty much get all the way up and get yourself a 500-yard drive. Hitting it good is definitely going to make it not go as far as he wanted it to go. But with such a wide fairway, it's really hard to make a mistake. I'm going to take the more um, well-traveled path. See, 410, that's very decent. But I like to take the side way, and I don't think that I'm going to have enough distance here with my level 9 quarterback. So there we go. We're going to switch it. Plus, also, I know I don't need the big dog for my second shot, and I just need to make sure I could hop over here. So I set up, I give myself margin for error on both sides. I hit it great, but I'm not worried because I did leave quite a bit of room. And you see how close we got to the grass compared to where the grass, it's all grass, but how the rough, even though we set up a lot further over, that's how inaccurate the club is. I believe it only has a 15 for accuracy. So my next upgrade to make it a number 7, I'm going to gain a lot of curl, but I believe I'm also going to gain a decent amount of accuracy. And if he had the big dog, he would most likely be able to make it over. But with that club, it's going to be tough. I'm not sure if he's going to try a power hook or if he's just going to overpower it. It's a tad bit of a tailwind, so it could work with full topspin, but we have no way of knowing. And it looks like he's just going to try to blast it here. Great shot. Perfect would have been better. And see, that's a very risky shot, but it pays off. Probably did put full topspin on it, and you know, the rough made it die out, so we didn't have to worry about going into the sand. We have a much easier second shot here, but with a 10-mile-an-hour wind and a 100 accuracy club, we need to move it 10 rings over. So right there feels good, but I know there needs to be more. So I add a little bit more. It's downhill, so the adjustment's going to even be a little bit higher yet. I could have adjusted a little more on top of that. I'm just now noticing that it's downhill, but we still get a good shot in. So he has to go over the sand with a lot of topspin, but not enough topspin to kick the ball backwards into the sand. So once again, he has the harder shot. So I took a riskier drive, but because my drive was successful, my way to the hole is a lot easier. Now, he is using a thorn, but I'm going to bet, in most likelihood, he's not going to be using full backspin because you don't want it to kick back. So I like to zoom in on the ball as well to make it a little bit easier. And he makes his adjustment. Man, this is a really fun course. This is one of my favorites. And also with the wind blowing as a tailwind, the ball is less likely to kick back. Almost gets in the hole. If that would have dropped, we would have been in big trouble. All right, so now it's our turn. And I just like going with the thorn. Same thing though, I don't want it to kick back. So I'm setting up my shot, and I don't want to put full backspin on. Now, one thing I am doing here is putting right spin on the ball. I feel like I should be putting left spin on, but I'm being a little more aggressive, trying to get it in the hole, because I know my weakness is going to be shootouts because of my lower level clubs. And I'm able to hit it perfect. And because I go aggressive and landed to the right side of the pin, that slope is just too thick and I end up in the bunker. So we're going to have to hope for a save here. One good thing about ending up here is you're so close to the hole. So if you can time your shot perfectly, there's literally no wind adjustment. So he has a nice easy putt. And if I was him, I would think, all right, there it is, game over. But they call me Chip. So I think we already know what's about to happen here. man, I'm spoiling my own drive here. I like the fact that we have a tailwind the way we do. It's not really going to affect the shot, but if we had a side wind at 10 miles an hour, I would have been a little bit more nervous. We get perfect, we drop it down in, and now, once again, we're going to another shootout. So this is 2 holes now that we played the course with low-level clubs. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're going to have better clubs than I do, and you're going to be able to compete. I'm basically showing you that I am not at all handicapped by the clubs that I have. And now, unfortunately, well, I should say fortunately, actually, because shootouts, again, are not going to be my strong point here because I don't have my clubs fully upgraded like I do on my main account. But unfortunately, as a spoiler here, this guy unfortunately runs out of time and then forfeit, so I don't even get a shot to practice this hole. But I really didn't think I was going to win this shootout. This is my least favorite shootout hole. It's my Achilles. And as soon as I saw that arrow go past with 0 seconds, I pretty much knew. But I thought he was going to let me take my shot. It's okay that he forfeited. I'm not mad about it or anything because he obviously had no chance to get a win. So now we're 2-0 and we're making money. That should put us up to about 16 million gold coins. And I'm trying to fill my chest slots. So let's continue. I'm unlocking Tour 10, but even on my main account, I don't have Tour 10 open. So, man, my mini account, I actually feel better. It feels better with a lower level, bunch of clubs. So once again, we get another one of those Tour 6 courses, or at least originally it was Tour 6. We don't have the best wind, but if we do cut over like we do, from, to the right, you can see we do have a bit of a tailwind. So we just have to make an adjustment. Our opponent is using a turkey ball. Personally, I don't like using the balls that you got to spend money on for regular play. I save them for the tournament. And let's see, I think, what did he have? Apocalypse? I think he had an Apocalypse. Was it level 5? I'm not 100% sure. But you're going to land in the rough, and unfortunately, not enough adjustment, or the fact that he graded it is going to put it into that bunker. Now here, I'm really curious. Is a 6, an extra mile 6, going to be long enough and have enough topspin to get me out of the rough? And also, I'm looking and I'm like, I don't have much of a tailwind here, so I'm feeling kind of desperate. I am able to hit it perfectly, and I want to go right in between those 2 sand bunkers, and it looks like I'm going to, but at the last second, the ball just drops in. So I could have had a 1-shot lead right here had that ball not dropped in, because obviously a sniper would have made it on the green, but instead we're both using our sand wedges. And this is just going to be our approach shot, and we're definitely going to be in a disadvantage because he has a 5 wind ball and I have a level 2 wind ball with a Titan. But that's not really a big deal on our second shot out of the sand. That's going to affect the shootout and our approach shot more than anything. So, well-placed shot, no need to overpower or anything. It's better not to end up in the rough or the sand, and I'm going to do the same thing. Why overpower? Just go ahead and put the top spin on, some side spin to get it closer, make a quick adjustment for the wind, and as you see, no overpower, perfect shot. The shots are hard enough to make out of the rough and sand when you're not pulling all the way back, so why take a chance of slicing it? And now our opponent is going to try and chip it in with his rapier, level 7, excellent club, a lot of top spin. All that top spin makes it so the closer you pull it in towards you, the less you have to adjust for wind. Plus he only has a 4.3 wind adjustment to make. But because we can't see his ball guide, we have no way of knowing whether or not he actually used a bunch of topspin. Doesn't look like it. And unfortunately, he's just a little bit short, but I think, no, he might have missed a little right, but man, that was a great shot. A little more topspin. I wonder if that would have went in. Now here, I don't like these longer shots, especially with the 7-mile-an-hour wind, but I do love the thorn dunk. And I also love the fact that I'm at minimum distance, so I'm not in between minimum and maximum. So I'm using my minimum distance. I'm going to make my adjustment, which is under 2 rings, but over 1 ring, as you can see here. About 1.5. And now I got this feeling, if I hit this perfect, it's going in. And unfortunately, I hit it great, and let's see, just missed. So I believe a perfect shot would have went in. However, because I put the full backspin on, we still have a super easy putt. So looks like we're going to a shootout. 2 easy putts here. But you know, the purpose of this video, not only, you know, a bit of a Tour 9 training video, because I do have my main account in Tour 9, so I'm familiar with them, but also showing you, don't think that your clubs are too low, you know, to get you into certain tournaments. At least they're not going to be once you hit Tour 9. I never really clicked on my my icon to show how many games I have played, but man, this account's running really quickly. Like I'm just burning through the tours. I wish I had more money. For bankroll, I like to have 20 times the entrance fee, but you know, because I'm just cruising so much, I'm feeling pretty good. This also is where I really like the curl of an extra mile 7 or higher, and I feel handicapped because I have a Titan instead of a Katana, but we're going to do our best. I'm going to put a little bit of backspin on this and try to get as close as possible. I know we're not at max distance, but I'm still going to make an adjustment here. Now this is actually an accidental adjustment because I just adjusted as if though it was 2 per ring, and it's actually 2.5 per ring, which doesn't sound like much, but when you're talking about close to 10 miles an hour, let's just say we got really lucky that we were able to get it onto the putting surface and as close to the hole as we did. Now this to me looks like a winning shot. I wish the ball would have rolled just a little bit more, but anytime you get within 3 yards, you have a pretty good chance of winning. The pressure's definitely on our opponent, who does have the Apocalypse level 5, so he's got a huge advantage. I don't even have an Apocalypse level 4 on my main account, so I would be out clubbed even if I was playing with that account. That and the fact that he gets to use the turkey ball, taking the wind down quite a bit. You know, I mean, if you want to win and you want to spend money, this is definitely a way to do it. It gives you a nice advantage. However, I like to spend as little money as possible. So once again, unless it's like a must win, I'm not going to use special balls during regular play. I save them for the tournament. And he gets just a little bit closer than me. I know that before I even see it. And yes, we lost the shootout, but I feel like being within 2 yards, 2.19 I believe it is, you're going to win more games than you lose with that. So even though we lost the 1 million gold coins, bringing us from 16 million back down to 15 million, it was definitely a winnable shot. And I just accidentally clicked on Tour 10. No, I don't want to play that. And I want to back up again, make sure I'm not on there. And this is going to be our last hole. I don't want to do any repeats. If I get the chest, great. You know, I'm happy about that. If I don't get the chest, however, you know, losing a couple in a row, it's time to put the phone down or the tablet or whatever and pick it up again in an hour or two. You know, if you're in the middle of a grind. Now here, with a 10-mile-an-hour wind and not wanting to use a special ball, I don't like where the ball guide is showing me, and I always mess up on this shot in tournaments and end up in the water or hitting the rough. So I decide, you know what, I normally don't chip it in on my second shot, so I'm going to go ahead and try a sniper shot for my second approach. So here is one of those times where I feel like if I had an extra mile 8 or a higher level club, I would have been more aggressive. However, This shot is so straight with your wood that because I do have a sniper, I believe it's level 9 on this account, I feel pretty good about my odds to either chip it in or get super close. And our opponent has the extra mile 8, so he's got distance, accuracy. I believe he's going to have a better ball guide, and even he doesn't want to take that shot. Now, it looks like he's using a basic ball, though. So, you know, look at how much more curl you get with that. He hits it good. Not sure if that was on purpose, if this is some sort of like mini hook, but luckily he is able to jump over, so he didn't lose his ball in the drink, and the Nirvana should reach from there. And he's happy about it. But we have the easier shot. Even though we're further away, with a 4.9 mile an hour wind, I feel very good that if I don't get the ball in the hole, I'll get very close to it. This is one of those shots that I'm really happy to take. So we're going to adjust for 5 rings, 1 ring per mile per hour. Even though we're not exactly at maximum distance, the difference is very minimal. And there we go, perfect shot. Hopefully we didn't put too much backspin on because the wind was in our face, and unfortunately we missed just a little bit to the left. So, you know, knowing your wind rings for each club is extremely important, because it can be the difference between chipping in something with a wood, dunking it with a thorn if you hit it perfect, or, you know, getting in those skinny fairways with some confidence. And I do have a video about the wind rings that a lot of beginners liked. So if you don't know the wind rings, check that video out. And with his Nirvana, he is not able to get it into the hole. And we're going to call this our last game. As I said earlier, I don't want to lose all the money I just gained. I think I'm up like 2 million, so if I lose this one, I'll be up 1 million. If I win it, it'll be my final chest to fill them. And, you know, I have 3 different accounts, so I can give attention to another account. So I got in the easy putt. He's got a pretty hefty wind here. Now this is the area where I really like the Rapier, which has a lot more topspin, and I pull it way back just like he is. So I bet you he's using a lot of topspin here, and what that does is it makes it so you don't have to adjust for quite so much wind, because your shot is in the air for a much shorter period of time. So unfortunately we can't see, because we got some sort of weird, you know, like he disconnected, but obviously he didn't, because he took a shot while that was up. And we are heading to sudden death, or a shootout. So wrapping things up heading into the shootout, yes, you can get into, you know, you can get wins in Tour 9. Right now we have 2 wins, 1 loss, a total of 4 games. So will I end up at 500, or will I end up, you know, at 750 would be the amount. Now, I hate adjusting on this little pad. So one thing I try to do to alleviate it a little bit is, instead of adjusting from the outermost ring, I adjust from the 4th ring and do the math that way. However, right there is about 5 rings, and I still had to go into the sand to make the adjustment. I'm really worried about time, so I hit it great as well, and probably put a little more backspin on it than I should have. And that is not a great shot. Even though we are at 3 yards, this is an easier shootout. So on holes like this, you want to get much closer. I'm not at all happy with that shot. My only saving grace is the fact that I have a sniper with a better ball guide and better accuracy. So even with a basic ball and a much higher wind, if you know your wind rings, this is not a shot that you're going to be afraid to take. So while he lines up his shot, and we'll see if he's able to beat me or not, I just want to say, if you're not already subscribed, I have a lot of videos. I do a lot of live streaming, and we have a very large bunch of people that show up to the live stream, so they're really fun. It's kind of like a party in your living room. As you can see, it looks like he's right at about 3 yards as well, 2.5 yards. So I won 2 games, I lost 2 games. However, you know, you can definitely compete. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day.